Hello everyone, today in this video I am going to deal with the second chapter of Footprints Without Feet of class 10th. The chapter is The Thief's Story by Ruskin Bond. This chapter shows us that how we can win the people through trust. In this chapter we have two central characters. The one is Anil, who is around 25 years old, and the second is Hari, who is around 15 years old. Hari is a thief. He used to target a people and then he used to rob that people as soon as he gets a chance to rob that people. Now his next target is Anil. So now let's see in the chapter in this story that whether he was successfully able to rob, to thief Anil or not. I was still a thief when I met Anil, and though only 15, I was an experienced and fairly successful hand. Anil was watching a wrestling match when I approached him. He was about 25, a tall, lean fellow, and he looked easygoing, kind and simple enough for my purpose. I had not had much luck of late, and though thought I might be able to get into the young man's confidence. So we are introduced to Anil, and I is here thief, that is Hari. He is himself narrator of this story. He is narrating his experience, and then he says that he was around 15 years old and he has now made Anil his next target, who is around 25-year-old, a tall, lean fellow. So at the time when he made him a target, he selected him as his target. At that time Anil was watching a wrestling match, and by the look, when the first time he looked him, he judged that he was easygoing. He found that he was easygoing, kind and simple man, and he found him suitable for his purpose. His purpose was to thief him, to rob him, and therefore he found him suitable for his purpose. You look a bit of wrestler yourself, I said. A little flattery helps in making friends. So do you, he replied, which put me off for a moment because at that time I was rather thin. Well, I said modestly, I do wrestle a bit. What's your name? Hari Singh. I lied. I took a new name every month that kept me ahead of police and my former employers. So now here in this part, he says now as he has already selected Anil as his next target, and now in order to get acquainted with him, in order to get friendly with him, he went to him and he started talking to him. He started to talk to him in a very flattering manner. It means he started praising him, and he says that this praise, this flattery helps in making friends. So he says him that you seems to be like a wrestler. So he replied that even I feel that even you are also a wrestler. Then he said that yes, he humbly replied, Hari Singh humbly replied that yes, I wrestle a bit. And then he said that I am Hari Singh, and at the same time he says that he has lied. He used to change his name every month. He used to get a new name every month so that he can keep himself away from police as well as his employer. So he used to cheat every month. He had cheated many people, and therefore in order to keep himself away from police and as well as the person whom he had cheated, he used to change his name every time he get into new profession. After this introduction, Anil talked about the well-oiled wrestler who were grunting, lifting and throwing each other about. I did not have much to say. Anil walked away. I followed casually. Hello again, he said. I gave him most appealing smile. I want to work for you, I said, but I cannot pay you. I thought that over for a minute. Perhaps I had misjudged by my man. I asked, can you feed me? can you cook? So now he had a brief discussion, a brief talk with Anil, and after that Anil started discussing about the wrestler who were fighting, who were in the arena, and after that he walked from that place. Then he started following Anil, and then he said that I want to work for you. Then Anil replied, but I can't pay you. I don't have enough to pay you. So he says that can you feed me? Can you provide me food? I can work for you for food. So he says, Anil again replied that if you can cook for me, I can keep you. But I can keep you as my servant, you can work for me, but at the same time I will not pay you, I can just provide you food. I can cook, I lied again. If you can cook, then maybe I can feed you. He took me to his room over Jamuna sweet shop and told me I could sleep on the balcony. But the meal I cooked that night must have been terrible because Anil gave it to a stray dog and told me to be off. But I just hung around smiling in my most appealing way and he could not help laughing. So then again he says that he don't know how to cook, but again he lied to him. The first lie which he has said that his name was Hari Singh. Second he said that yes he know how to cook as he don't know how to cook. So then Anil took him to his house which was located on the street over Jamuna sweet shop, and then he said that he can have a sleep, he can sleep in balcony, and then that night he cooked the food, Hari Singh cooked the food which was horrible, which was terrible, it means it was not eatable. So Anil gave that food to a stray dog and then he asked him to leave the place. But this man, he was with other intention, he had some ill intention in his mind and his intention was not fulfilled yet and therefore he did not leave the place. He kept smiling and hanging around hanging around Anil's house. So after that, let's see what happened then. Later he patted me on the head and said never mind, he would teach me to cook. He also taught me to write my name and said he would soon teach me to write whole sentences and to add numbers. I was grateful. I knew that once I could write like an educated man, there would be no limit to what I could achieve. It was quite pleasant working for Anil. I made the tea in the morning and then would take my time buying the day's supplies, usually making a profit of about a rupee a day. I think he knew I made a little money this way, but he did not seem to mind. So after that, when he had cooked food which was not eatable, which was horrible, after that he patted on the head of Hari Singh and he said him that no problem, come with me, I will teach you how to cook, and not only that, even I will educate you, I will teach you how to write your name and how to add numbers, and I will even make you write the whole sentences. Then he realized that it may be that when he will be educated man, he will be able to learn, he will be able to achieve and will be able to earn more and more. And after that he says that he started living with Anil, working for Anil. He used to make tea early in the morning. After that he used to go to market for buying daily supplies. It means the thing which is required daily needed things he used to go to buy to the market, and whatever money Anil gave him to buy the daily needed things, from that he used to save a rupee per day. And he says that perhaps Anil knew that, but he never said anything about it. Anil made money by fits and starts. He would borrow 1 week, lend the next. He kept worrying about his next check, but as soon as it arrived, he would go out and celebrate. It seems he wrote for Maxine, a queer way to make a living. One evening he came home with a small bundle of notes saying he had just sold a book to a publisher. At night I saw him tuck the money under the mattress. So now it is being informed here that Anil was a writer by profession. He used to write for magazine and he used to get money now and then. It means he don't have any regular income. He used to get sometimes he do not get any money, and he was always worrying about his next payment. And whenever he used to get the payment, he used to go out, he used to celebrate it, he used to celebrate with his friend, and he find it totally strange way of living. And then Hari Singh says that one evening when he came home with a small bundle of note. So this time he got some handsome payment. Anil informed Hari that he has sold a book to a publisher, and that's why he has got some handsome payment from that publisher. I had been working for Anil for almost a month, and apart from cheating on the shopping, he had not done anything in my line of work. I had every opportunity for doing so. Anil had given me a key to the door, and I could come and go as I pleased. He was most trusting man I had ever met. So now he says that he has been working for Anil for past 1 month, and he says that now he is out of his profession. For the past 1 month he has not cheated anyone, and he says that he had all opportunity to cheat Anil because Anil has handed him the key of his house. He was free to go and come at any time whenever he pleased. And he says he found Anil to be the most trusting person whomsoever he has met yet. And that is why it was so difficult to rob him. It's easy to rob a greedy man because he can afford to be robbed. But it's difficult to rob a careless man. Sometimes he does not even notice he's been robbed, and that takes all the pleasure out of the work. Well, it's time I did some real work. I told myself I am out of practice, and if I do not take the money, he will only waste it on his friend. After all, he does not even pay me. So now he says that he found Anil the most trusting person. He trusts him a lot. And he says that therefore it was quite difficult for him to rob him. And then he says that it is quite easy to rob a greedy person. But he says that robbing a careless person does not provide him a pleasure. He does not feel interested in robbing a careless person, in cheating a careless person. Why? Because he says that those careless person, they never notice even that they are being cheated or they are being robbed. And then now he says that he has been out of practice from his profession, the profession of thieving people, the profession of cheating people, and now he says that as Anil don't pay him, Anil doesn't pay him any money, and therefore he should cheat him, he should rob him with the money he has been recently paid by the publisher. And then he says that even if I will not rob him, then what he will do with the money? He will just go out with his friends and he will celebrate it and he will waste all the money. So just the thing is, he was consoling himself. He was giving justification to himself because he knew that he was a very trustworthy person. He should not rob him and therefore he should not cheat him, and therefore what he was doing, he was consoling himself because his conscience was not allowing him to cheat Anil. And therefore he was giving different justification to himself that even if he will not cheat him, even if he will not thief the money which he has brought, then what he will do? He will waste that money. So better to cheat it, better to thief that money which he has received. Anil was asleep. A beam of moonlight stepped over the balcony and fell on the bed. I sat up on the floor considering the situation. If I took the money, I could catch the 10:30 express to Lucknow. Slipping out of the blanket, I crept up to the bed. Anil was sleeping peacefully. His face was clear and unlined. Even I had more marks on my face, though mine were mostly scars. My hand slid under the mattress searching for the notes. When I found them, I drew them out without a sound. Anil sighed in his sleep and turned on his side toward me. I was startled and quickly crawled out of the room. So now, till now, here it has been said, so that night he decided that he is finally going to thief, he is finally going to rob Anil, and now he was sitting in the room on the floor and he was planning that how he will execute the plan. And then it came to his mind that if now he is going to rob him, then he will be able to catch the train of 10:30 which will head toward Lucknow. So now he came out of his bed, he went to the bed where Anil was sleeping and peacefully he slided his hand in the mattress under which the money was kept. So his hand reached the point where money was kept and he took the money out and he crawled out of the room. So while he was snatching the money, while he was taking money out of the mattress, Anil was asleep, he was sleeping, but at that moment he sighed and he turned his face toward him. When I was on the bed, I began to run. When I was on the road, I began to run. I had the notes at my waist, held there by the string of my pajamas. I slowed down to walk and counted the notes. 600 rupees in 50s. I could live like an oil-rich Arab for a week or two. So he get out of the room. As soon as he got money in his hand, he ran out of the room. He went on the road running. He ran, and after a few minutes he stopped. He started walking, and while walking he counted the amount which he had stolen. So it was 600 all in 50s. And then he said that he could live for a week or 2 weeks like an oil-rich Arab out of that money which he has stolen from Anil. When I reached the station, I did not stop at the ticket office. I had never bought a ticket in my life but dashed straight to the platform. The Lucknow Express was just moving out. The train had still to pick up speed, and I should have been able to jump into one of the carriages, but I hesitated. For some reason I cannot explain, and I lost the chance to get away. So he says that when he reached the station, he doesn't go to buy ticket. He directly went to the platform, and there he saw that Lucknow Express was leaving the platform, and it was not at a great speed, and therefore he would have been easily jumped into any of the carriages of that train. But he says that suddenly something stopped him. Something came to his mind and he was started feeling hesitated to get into the train, and therefore he did not get into the train, he did not take the train. When the train had gone, I found myself standing alone on the deserted platform. I had no idea where to spend the night. I had no friends, believing that friends were more trouble than help, and I did not want to make anyone curious by staying at one of the small hotels near the station. The only person I knew really well was the man I had robbed. Leaving the station, I walked slowly through the bazaar. So now he was not able to get into the train, and the train has left the platform. He was now standing all alone on that platform, and he don't know where to go and what to do. He has no idea that where he should spend the night. He has no friend in that town. He knew only one person who was Anil, but even he has robbed him as well. So now he left the station. He walked into the bazaar area. In my short career as thief, I had made a study of man's face when they had lost their goods. Greedy man showed fear, the rich man showed anger, the poor man showed acceptance. But I knew that Anil's face when he discovered the theft would show only a touch of sadness not for the loss of money, but for the loss of trust. So now he says, now he shares his experience with us that throughout his career of thieving, throughout his career of stealing, he has made a study. And what is that? He says that the greedy man, on being theft, they shows fear, and rich man shows anger, and he says that the poor shows acceptance. But he says about Anil, he is talking that Anil will not have any of these feeling on his face. He will not show any expression on his face. He will just feel sad. And why he will feel sad? He will not feel sad for the money which has been robbed, but he will feel sad for the trust which he has lost. I found myself in the Maidan and sat down on a bench. The night was chilly, it was early November, and a light drizzle added to my discomfort. Soon it was raining quite heavily, my shirt and pyjama stuck to my skin, and a cold wind blew the rain across my face. So now he came to a Maidan is field area, and there he sat on a bench. It was the time of November, and therefore it was cold outside, and even it was raining, and therefore he was now wet and he felt cold, and now he was feeling discomfort. It means he was not able to resist the cold outside. I went back to Bazaar and sat down in the shelter of the clock tower. The clock showed midnight. I felt for notes. They were damp from the rain. Anil's money in the morning, he would probably have given me 2 or 3 rupees to go to the cinema, but now I had it all. I could not cook his meal, run to the bazaar, or learn to write whole sentences anymore. I had forgotten about them in the excitement of theft. Whole sentences I knew could one day bring me more than few hundred rupees. It was simple matter to steal, and sometimes just as simple to be caught, but to be really big man, a clever and respected man was something else. I should go back to Anil, I told myself, if only to learn to read and write. So now he was feeling cold outside in the Maidan area, in the field where he was sitting on the bench, and as it was raining, therefore now he came back to Bazaar area, and he sat in the shelter. And when he sat there, he saw the time which was there in the bazaar area, in the clock tower. He saw that it was midnight, it means it was 12 o'clock. Then he felt for the notes, the money which he had stolen. It were all damp, it means it will all wet. So now he was thinking that if he would have not stolen that money, then definitely next morning Anil would have given him 2 or 3 rupees to go to cinema. But now all the money was with him, and he says that in the excitement of stealing money, in the excitement of thieving it, he has forgotten all positive things which he was getting from Anil. The education, he was teaching him how to read and write, how to do addition, how to write sentences, and then he analyzed that it may be that those education may have helped him to get 100 rupees a month. It would have helped him to earn a handsome salary, and not only that, he would have been a really big man, a clever and respected man. So then it came to his mind that he should better return to Anil, not for the money, not to get the salary, but to learn to read and write. It came to his mind that if he will be there with him, he will learn to read and write, he will be educated, and it may be in the future he may become a good person, a respectable person, which may fetch him a good amount of salary even. I hurried back to the room feeling very nervous, for it is much easier to steal something than to return it undetected. I opened the door quietly, then stood in the doorway in clouded moonlight. Anil was still asleep. I crept to the head of the bed, and my hand came up with the notes. I felt his breath on my hand. I remained still for a minute. Then my hand found the edge of the mattress and slipped under it with the notes. So after analyzing it, he came back to the room. He was feeling nervous, and then he came into the room and he took the money and he slipped it. He placed it, the notes from where he has taken. I woke late next morning to find that Anil had already made the tea. He stretched out his hand toward me. There was a 50-rupee note between his fingers. My heart sank. I thought I had been discovered. So next morning, he was still asleep. Usually he used to wake up early. He used to prepare tea for Anil. But today he was asleep. He woke up late in the morning and Anil had prepared tea, and as he woke up, Anil stretched out his hand. He gave 50 rupees to him. Anil had 50 rupees in his hand and he was offering it to Hari Singh. And when he saw that money in his hand, he was afraid that maybe that his thieving, his stealing money has been discovered. Anil has found that he has stolen the money last night. I made some money yesterday, he explained. Now you will be paid regularly. My spirit rose. But when I took the note, I saw it was still wet from the night's rain. Today we will start writing sentences, he said. He knew, but neither his lips nor his eyes showed anything. I smiled at Anil in my most appealing way, and the smile came by itself without an effort. So now he says that while offering that 50 rupees note to him, Anil explained him that yesterday he has received some payment, some money. That is the money which he has got from publisher, and now he says that he will be paying him a regular money, that is he will get monthly allowance. So now Hari is going to get a monthly allowance, and he says that when he took that note in his hand, when Hari Singh took that note in his hand, the note was still wet because of the last night rain. And then he analyzed that Anil has realized and he has come to know about everything what happened last night. But he says that his face, his lips, his eyes showed no reaction. He was neutral as usual, as he used to be all the time. And then Anil said to him that today we will start writing sentences. And after that, Hari Singh gave him again a smile, which he used to give in a very appealing manner. It means in a very pleasing manner. So this time in a very attractive manner, but this time that smile was not fake. It was not with a bad intention, but it was something which came naturally. And it was a genuine one this time. So this is all about this chapter. This is how we saw that Anil was able to transform a young boy. So by the dint of his trust, he has transformed a thief into a gentleman. This is all about this chapter. Thank you.